We live in a world where there are so many ways to play D&D. Thanks to the internet, parties are no longer tied to actually sitting around a table and rolling dice in person. But is that a better way to play the game, or just more convenient? In this video, I want to go over the pros and cons of both playing in person and virtually, so you can get a better idea of which method would fit you and your party best. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments if you've played both ways too. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's get the obvious out of the way first. It is much easier to get a party together and start playing online than it is in person. Between virtual forums, websites, and Discord groups, there are a ton of ways to find people to start a virtual game. And if you want to play with friends, the sad truth is that a lot of your nerdy pals might not live in the same area anymore. But online, you can gather a party from around the world for your campaigns, not just those who happen to be in the same city. And when it's time to run a session, there's also less of a time commitment. You just boot up your computer and get started. No need to drive anywhere or hop on a bus to get to a friend's place. In terms of convenience, it's hard to beat online play. Naturally, playing in person requires more of an effort. If you're trying to form a group with people you know, you might have to do some convincing to get your friends, family, and coworkers to actually try it out. If you're willing to game with strangers, that does make things simpler. Lots of local game stores host D&D nights, and Adventurers League, D&D's official series of games hosted across the world, has made it much easier to find a table and play. But you're often stuck with whoever's showing up to the store that night, whether you like them or not. Whereas online, while it may take you a bit to find that perfect party, you're vetting people from a much larger pool of potential players. And whether you're playing in a home game or at the local shop, you still have to get to where the session is being held. So unless you're hosting, game night includes the time it takes you to get to and from the actual table. No matter how you slice it, it's hard to deny that playing online is easier and less time consuming than playing in person. Once you have a group and are ready to go, you might find that the vibes each session differ between being in person and playing online. In my experience, in-person D&D feels a bit more relaxed. It's as much about hanging out with friends as it is playing the game. Side conversations happen naturally, you can all order food together, and generally, you're spending some quality time with people you enjoy spending time with. You do run the risk of things getting a little too relaxed, with people leaving the table, losing focus, and not paying as much attention to what's happening in the campaign, but for the most part, the chill aspects are welcomed. Of course, that's my experience of playing in person with friends. I'd love to hear in the comments how that differs for Adventurers League. In contrast, playing online feels a little less casual. Because you're all speaking into mics and not in the same room, you can't really have side conversations without talking over everyone else. So once you start playing, the focus tends to stay on the game. That can lead to everyone being more engaged in the session than they would be in person. Or you might be even more distracted since nobody's there to judge you for getting on your phone or opening another window in your browser. So it's a double-edged sword. And because each player is in their own space, that sense of community being around the same table isn't quite as strong. But with that said, your table's vibe will depend as much on who you're playing with as how you're playing. But there is one undeniable disadvantage to playing online, and that's tech issues. If my Wi-Fi decides to stop working an hour before the game, we're not playing D&D. Laptop issues, spotty internet, Discord going down, all of these will absolutely kill your session's momentum, even if you get them working again later. Yes, you can be affected by power outages and lack of internet while playing in person, but there are tons of physical resources you can use to get around those issues. When you play virtually, you're at the mercy of the internet, and it's a fickle god. While the vibes may vary, perhaps the biggest difference between playing online and in person is the resources at your disposal. If you're a dungeon master looking to start a new campaign, which method will make things easier for you? Well, the good news is you can use Theater of the Mind for either, so if you have access to the rules and are happy using your imagination for everything, there won't be much of a difference. But if you like using maps and minis, having the entire internet at your disposal in online play is a godsend. Free virtual tabletops like Roll20 and Owlbear Rodeo let you import whatever battle maps and player tokens you want. And considering you can find some very good ones for no cost on places like Reddit, you can pretty much always find what you're looking for. If you don't mind shelling out some cash, you can even get access to 3D tabletops or your own map making software, which can make the experience even more immersive. But for DMs on a budget, playing online can save you a lot of money while offering plenty of really good resources. If you're playing in person, costs can start to add up fast. If you want that cool dragon mini to really wow your players, it's going to cost money. And that's just one battle. If your goal is to have miniatures for every combat encounter, you're going to be paying a lot while you build up your collection. Trust me, my wallet has never recovered. And that's before you even consider buying other quality of life tools like condition trackers, spell effect measurements, and platforms for flying creatures, things that virtual tabletops usually have included. But there are absolutely ways to cut costs. You can hand draw your own maps, or use a dry erase mat that you can write on again and again. You don't need miniatures, and can substitute in other game pieces or paper tokens instead. If you're feeling crafty, you can make your own condition trackers, terrain, and all sorts of other goodies. How much you spend is really up to you, but when compared to all of the free resources online play has to offer, and the effort or cash it takes to match them in person, it's a tough pill to swallow. But I will say, there is a difference between seeing your players' reactions when that giant Orcus mini hits the table, compared to revealing the JPEG of the Lich you prepared in Roll20. There is a kind of theater to in-person D&D that doesn't get fully communicated online. You can roleplay more with your movements, stand up during tense combat, shift minis around in cool ways. You can get pretty close playing online, especially when visually, the maps I can produce virtually look much cooler than what I can draw, but you'll lose a bit of that excitement in translation. So even if it isn't cheap, those minis and other tools will feel worth it, even if I'm financially ruined. So all in all, which is better? In my personal opinion, I prefer playing in person. But both of my games these days are online. We wouldn't be able to play if going virtual wasn't an option. Maybe this is a cop-out, but at the end of the day, the best way to play D&D is whatever lets you play D&D. For some folks, that'll be with friends around the table, and for others, it'll be a world away on their computers. Both are great, but I hope I've given you a good overview of what each has to offer so you can better decide what works best for you. But that's just my experience. I'd love to hear your own thoughts on which way to play is better in the comments. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, leaving a like is always appreciated. And if you want to see even more, you should consider subscribing to the Bard's College. I make videos all about D&D, DMing, and everything in between, so there's more to come. But for now, good luck, and remember, crit your players.